Oh, here we are. Hi, I'm Del Smith, and today I'm doing something live for a change, which is interesting. Um, I wanted to talk about my channel itself and how I view Booktube dealing with channels in general and just my overall thoughts on it. The channel I have, which is Struggling Writer, because you didn't know that, it's been around for. Hold on, this microphone. Bends a lot. So, anyways, I've had this channel for about 4 to 5 years, and it's still fairly small, and I'm fine with that. I'm not one that wants growth or anything, but thinking about only having 19 subscribers, even though I'm grateful to have 19 subscribers, incredibly grateful to even have 19 subscribers, doesn't change the fact that it's still a small number. And I think about why it's so small, and I guess the reasoning is I'm not very good at doing like proper filming of lighting and stuff. I mean, look right now, the lighting's off on this. The angle's off. Maybe the audio isn't even working. I don't even know. Well, it seems to be working. So, but the point is, I don't have the most slickest look in design of the filming and all that jazz. And this is supposed to be a visual medium. But my big question is this: why does it have to be? I know that seems like a silly question to ask, but all I do is talk about books. Just talk about and give my opinion on books. So I don't see the point in having the most professional or slick videos or whatnot. And even though my videos do have a certain rawness to it, which I do agree, I have been at least sensible enough to condense the length of them, keeping them under 3 minutes or 3 minutes exactly. So you don't have something so clunky and long with such raw footage. But at the same time, I don't know. True. I just don't know. When I think of the other booktube channels and see how they get all the lighting right and all the cinematography light, and they even pretty themselves up, and they show off their whole shelf of books and all that, and I don't know. I just don't see the point in that. I'm much more interested in my opinions on things and even other people's opinions on things than I am on them just showing off books, which tends to be a thing. I mean, there's book hauls for a reason, and it's to show the books more than to discuss them. And yeah, I don't know. It's just something that just I don't know. It does get to me, it really does. And I do think it does make a lot of the readers kind of shallow in the sense because they don't really discuss why they like or dislike a book. They rarely discuss their opinion. There's rarely that many reviews. Often reviews are just put in places like Goodreads, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. For a channel that's about books, for BookTube itself, it just seems odd that there's little focus on BookTube to be about books. I don't know. I find it odd, to say the least. To say the least, I find it odd. Yeah. So, it does seem like no one's gonna watch this video now, and obviously later, which was planned in advance. I thought about that. Um, that's fine. It's just one thing I do want to ask to the few people that do actually watch my channel is what do you actually want to see me do per se? What is there anything you actually like about my channel, and if so, what that is and why? Because I don't know. Often I feel like I'm just shooting in the dark, not literally, but metaphorically speaking, and I don't even know if any of it's working or not working, or I don't even know if this is working. Honestly, I don't know. I might think about doing this sort of thing more often because of that. It should actually try, I don't know, inviting people to these things so I'm not alone when I'm discussing it. Of course, I should probably plan these out in advance, shouldn't I? I don't know. I just like doing it, getting it done, and then just leaving it there. That's just the way I do things. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I do that. But, yeah. It doesn't help that, none of my cameras are really that good in taking footage, I guess you can say. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. This is just starting to sound like a bunch of whining, isn't it? I apologize. I don't know. I guess sometimes, I get discouraged. I get a bit discouraged, and I don't know. I don't know. I just keep going at it, even if I don't see much of a point at this point. Well, I do see a point. The whole reason I do this is just because I love reading and I love writing and I love talking about books. And I just love discussing about books and how interesting I find them and why I find them interesting and all that. And I don't know. But with so much of it being focused on the book hauls and the tags and other such things, and not enough about just, talking about the book. Yeah. There is, although, quite a lot of actual book discussions out there, and things are actually changing rather impressively. Ariel Bissett actually made a whole video essay on Booktube, which is honestly fascinating, considering how Booktube doesn't actually have that many video essays. Unless you're talking about, like, the sort of video essays on, like, video essays on storytelling kind of stuff, like Tale Foundry. But outside of that, yeah, you don't really see Booktube having video essays. And the main reason I do want to state why I like my videos not looking really good is because I just don't see the point in showing nice things when it's just a house with objects in it. It's not like, wow, such a spectacle to look at a house that honestly probably doesn't look that different from your own house, because a lot of houses tend to look kind of the same, unless you live in like a mansion or something. But I think I'm more concerned about what I'm saying than what I'm showing, and maybe I should change that, maybe, because I know this is a visual medium, and I should focus more on at least showing things. But I don't know. When my channel's so focused on books and the content in the books and about the books themselves, and so few of the books I even read are about visual stuff. I think there's only one book I've made, one video on a book I've made that's actually about the visuals in the book, because it was an actual art book. It's full of pictures and the like. So obviously that was more about, look at these pretty images. But for the most part, my the videos have just been about whatever book I'm talking about. I try to state what I'm trying to say in the best possible light, though. Of course, most of the time I don't even script it. Maybe I should script it, but I don't know. I just like just talking about it, stating my opinion, even changing it over time. I like to hear other people's opinions, even though it rarely happens. And I need to stop whining. Honestly, I'm even grateful to have this channel. I have a lot of fun making it. Even if hardly anyone watches it, I'll still do it. I just love books. I love talking about books. I love highlighting books. I'm glad that there's a whole place to actually discuss books. And one thing I am grateful for is I'm one of the few channels that really delves into books that hardly anyone delves into. Like, how many other channels will have a book review on basically a biography on William Shakespeare, or children's literature even, that's not just Harry Potter? Not that there's anything wrong with Harry Potter. It's a good series. Pointing out that there's other children's series other than Harry Potter out there, believe it or not. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, is what I don't understand is, why does it have to be visual when you're just going to talk? and it's more important what you're saying than anything you're showing in the first place. Like, I get it if you're making some sort of video on your channel that is intended to be visual, like video essays. Video essays, whole purpose of the essay is to do something that is, well, an essay, but visual. That's why it's called a video essay, and it makes perfect sense in that regard. And, with like films, making any sort of film, it makes sense to be professional. Or if you're showing something really cool, like you're going out places and traveling and going to like strange locations in the middle of nowhere where there's castles or something. I get having visual stuff for that, but if it's just you in your room talking, why does it matter how we look, how the camera looks? Shouldn't it matter more what we say than how we look? I don't know. I guess that's the question I have, because I have had this channel for years. I focus all on what I try and say it, and I try, though probably not always succeed, at getting a point across in what I say, even if it's not the most well articulate. And I don't know, it still seems like people are so much more interested and invested in the visual aspect, and I just don't see the point in that when I'm just going to talk anyways. If I was making some sort of film, or if I was, actually making it an essay, video essay or something, yeah, I try to make it as professional and slick as it can be to get across all the main points and all that. But when it's just you sitting in a room talking and stating an opinion about something, I just don't get the reasoning why it needs to be visual, why you need to focus on the lighting, why you need a good camera. Why is that important when it's more important just getting what your thoughts are and your perception and opinion on things more than what you show or how you look? And it's kind of funny for me to say that in Booktube, because that's the thing with Booktube, because so much of it is focused on how people look in their videos and how they present them and how they present the books too. It almost seems like there's more focus on the covers of books more than there is on the books themselves. And for the record, there's nothing wrong if you want to look, you want very professional and pretty looking whatever videos. There's nothing wrong with that. I've watched quite a few of those types of videos, so I'm not making any negative criticism against that. I'm just pointing out why is this the only way that it's generally accepted by a large amount of readers that, should be focusing more on the book itself and the content within it and why they think it's good, not than what the cover looks like. And I understand that the cover, the cover is an important thing, and it does take a lot of work to make a good cover. There's a Booktube channel, Holly Dunn something, Think Designs, highlights the process of actually making a cover at one point, and it is a really difficult and fascinating, process in and of itself. And I'm not underestimating, again, the cover. I'm just saying that with Booktube, I should get the sense and feeling that no matter how pretty or professional the videos are, all pretty and professional the books are and the covers, that the insides is where it all is at, where it's the most important. And I don't really see that. It's hard to see that. I remember watching a Plum Banana video, something like that, and she actually had an author in one of her videos. I forget who the author's name is. I forgot the name of the video. But in that video where, so take this with a grain of salt, because it might have been her, it might have been someone else. I'm very bad at names. Horrible at names. But the thing that I found interesting is that in one video, she had this author with her, and all they did was a bunch of basically tags and such. They never brought in the author to actually, discuss the book or how to write or anything like that. And that's not to say that all channels are like that. No, I've seen videos where it's the opposite way, where we sort of have an interview or focus on the writing and the process of writing. That's out there too. Jen Campbell, is a writer, and she does delve a bit into the process and has interviews with people that help publish her books. So there's a bit of both sides out there. But yeah. And then there's, of course, the books themselves, which, from what I can tell, there tends to be like kind of three forms of booktube. There's the YA, which is obviously the most watched and viewed and discussed and whatnot. There's the classics, which is about the classics, obviously. And then there's the sort of the literature books, the artsy, fancy, smancy literary books that are literary with smartiness to them. Is smartiness even a word? I don't know. I'm still a bit tired. But the thing I find interesting is that rarely anyone picks up a book at random, or even a book that's not in our century often. Or if it is outside of our century, it's always a well-established, well-known classic, or like a really old book that's being re-shown in this modern day because it was shunned in the past for whatever reason. But now there's no just picking up a random book that was from the 80s, for example, or 70s. I don't know. This is some random book you never heard of that turned out to be really interesting. And yeah, I've read a lot of books like that. I remember one children's book I read. I think it was written in the 80s. It was interesting. There's this whole story about this fog or this mist or something, and she goes into this mist and she finds herself in another time. Man, I'm trying to find that book, but I haven't been able to find it. It doesn't help that I don't remember the author's name though, or the title of the book. Maybe I should just look a book with like fog, time travel in it. I don't know. Yeah, I really went all over the place, haven't I? I'm sorry. The whole point I was trying to get at was, why is video content within Booktube the way it is? Why does it have to focus on this particular thing? Why is there so much focus on the shelves and the shelves being rainbow colored arranged? And why does it always have to be the newest, most pristine editions of the book? Why is there focus on the covers? It almost seems like that more than there is on the content of the book itself. And isn't it strange how this focus on these covers and things sort of demonstrates and illustrates Booktube itself and its focus on more of the visual and how they present themselves within the videos, within the lighting and the way the camera's shot and the way they talk about things often. Not always. I mean, I grant you this is a generalization, but it is very, very common, and it's throughout a good majority of Booktube. And I'm not saying that these things in it of themselves are bad. I'm just saying it should be a bit more broad. I mean, books are broad. We don't expect it to just be in one particular genre or one particular convention, writing convention. It should be much more unique and different from one sort of story to the next, as it should be really different between one video channel to the next, and it's not really that different. A lot of them are similar, very similar in design, in color, in the way the videos are, in the way the videos are presented and shown. And I guess this all goes back down to why my channel is so small, and the fact that it's very opposite of that. Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to get at this whole time. So yeah. Let's see. Let me try something real quick here. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I think that'll do for today. This is just a test anyways. I haven't actually done a live video on here before. But these are just some thoughts I've been thinking about, and just wanted to talk about the random. You know, I don't know if it'll come to anything, but yeah, tell me what you think about it. You know, your opinion, and that's what I asked you earlier. What, if anything, is there to actually like about my channel, and why do you like it? Because yeah, even I don't know on that one. So yeah, see you later.